happens when we don't trust the infrastructure. I'm not talking about like super hardcore people who run your VM and they are like single stepping your VM and figuring out what the CPU is doing, because in that case there is nothing you can do. But what if, for instance, if you have physical machines and people steal the machines or the disks, or you're using a SAN and they find a way to sniff the traffic between the servers and the SAN, or you're running on a cloud provider and the cloud provider has a way to make a snapshot of your disks without you being aware of it, or they have a way to basically sniff the traffic, like the I/O traffic between the VM and the hypervisor, something like that. Those things are really easy to do, and so we should protect against them. And what about some vulnerabilities? So I'm not talking about hardcore, full-scale kernel exploits, because in that case it's game over. But like path traversal, what if somebody at some point finds a way to kind of break out of the file system of their container and get somewhere else? So that's also a problem. So we have encryption at rest. So all the data, so the managers, the certificates, the keys, the list of services, and of course the secrets are always encrypted on disk. And by default, the key is stored right next to the data, because well, when Swarm starts, it needs to read that data. But if you want, you can lock a cluster. Locking a cluster is a super simple operation, as you will see. And when you lock the cluster, the data is still encrypted, but now the key is not written on disk anymore. And you can lock either like this, like Docker Swarm update -- autolock, or when you do Docker Swarm init, you can also use -- autolock equal true as well. So you can create the cluster directly in locked state. So if a cluster is locked, it means, or rather, if it has autolock, it means that when it starts, it needs a key. Without the key, let me rephrase, sorry, because I'm being confusing here. It's not really about the cluster, it's about the nodes. So when the node starts, the manager specifically, if it's locked, it just waits until you give it the key. And when you give it the key, then it's able to read the certificates and the keys, and then it can connect to the other nodes and establish its role in the Raft consensus, and then it's a fully functional member of the cluster. So that's why by default, the cluster is unlocked, which means that by default, autolock on the cluster is false, which means that the managers come up unlocked. But if you enable autolock on the cluster, it means that the managers will boot in the locked state and will require a passphrase. Let's do a demo that will be probably better than my confusing explanations. So I'm going to enable autolock, Docker Swarm update -- autolock equal true. That's it. So when I do that, if any node reboots, or if somebody steals the disk or whatever, they can't do anything with it. Everything still works fine. Like if I do docker node ls, it still works fine. But if I do, let's restart Docker. I'm going to do sudo systemctl restart Docker. Okay. So now if I do like normal Docker commands like docker ps, it works. I mean, there is no container running because they were shut down. But if I want, I can do like docker run -ti ubuntu. I can run a normal container just fine and do whatever I want in like classic mode. However, if I do docker node ls, it will tell me Swarm is encrypted and needs to be unlocked before it can be used. Please use Docker Swarm unlock. All right, so I need to Docker Swarm unlock. And here, two things happen. Well, three. Either I have a really big screen and I can copy paste the key and I'm fine. Or my screen is not that big and I need to access to my scrollback buffer to get the key. Or I clear my scrollback buffer and I'm like, crap, what was the key again? as long as I have access to one manager, I can get the key. So for instance, I can go to another window. Let's say I go to node 2 and I do docker swarm unlock key, and it will show me my unlock key. I can copy it and paste it to the other terminal, and now my manager will be up and running. If I do docker node ls, it works, and if I do docker ps, I should have, yeah, my global containers have been redeployed on that node. And if we want to unlock the cluster, because we don't want to be paranoid and give a passphrase each time we restart a node, then we can go back to auto unlocked state. So docker swarm update -- auto lock equal false. And now if I restart docker once again, and I do docker node ls, okay, yep, we're good. The little latency was because it was reestablishing Raft and everything.